It is Tuesday, May 11th, 2021, as you can see, and I am returning to my old system. Last night I tried something different. I tried going live on my Instagram story, just live on Instagram and talking about my day, and then I was chatting with people, and that was actually kind of fun, but it went on for quite a while, and I didn't see the option to download the file, so I don't even know if you can do that. And part of the point is that I like to download them and then put them on YouTube later. The other thing that I'm changing up is that for a while there, I had my business Instagram linked to my Facebook page, and so my story would go to that, so all my Facebook friends on my profile wouldn't see my story, but I've decided to abandon my Facebook page. It's too much to post on my profile and my page. I kept hoping that I would eventually get my Facebook page monetized, like you can get money on your, for having ads on your videos like you do on YouTube, but you need 10,000 followers and like 50,000 a lot of watch hours. And I don't even know if it's available in Canada. It's just not going to happen. And I read an article and then watched a video by this woman who says actors, they should just use their profile. It's a lot easier. You don't have to run two things. So I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to simplify my life now. And that's why I've been having some troubles today. I woke up around 7 or something again today, but then again was so tired, and it might be because my CPAP machine mask is broken, but maybe I'm going to bed too late as well and eating too much just before bed. And then I'm just so tired. I was basically lying in bed all morning again. And at some point the doorbell rang and I put on my bathrobe because I thought a package was coming for me. The package came later. It was a mug I got for watching a webinar on the future of York University. But my mom's like, no. And it was, I don't know, I guess the person coming to they were spraying something in the house, maybe to get rid of bugs or something. And then I came back downstairs. I'm like, I need to get up, but I can't. And I just lay in bed until 2 or 3. It was just absurd. And then finally I'm like, okay, I'll get up. I'll put on my running clothes. So I did, but I didn't really run until 4 o'clock. And I didn't get anything done before then. And then came back. And then at 5, I'm like, okay, for this project I'm doing where I got voted off something, I can make a video trying to get back on. And I'm like, okay, so I want to do that before dinner. So I did that. And then my dad, I was like, he's like, well, I texted you at 5 and told you dinner was at 6. I'm like, I know. And then so there was chicken at the table. My mom's like, okay, did nobody say anything? Josh, tell us what the chicken tastes like to you. It's a certain type. And I'm like, well, my dad texted me. He texted me at 5 and said, oh, there's shawarma chicken for dinner. And she's like, well, you weren't supposed to tell him. He's like, oh, I don't know. Because they bought a special kind of chicken, and she wanted to know if it reminded me of my shawarmas. But I tasted it, and it was delightful. The spices were good, so thank you, Mom, for thinking of me. She knows I like shawarmas. I haven't gotten shawarmas on my runs lately. Do you miss those? At the end of dinner, my dad was like, look at the weather. He's like, oh, it's too cold. It's only going to be 5 degrees or 7 degrees. And I was like, or I think he was saying it was cold out before, and I said, it was kind of nice out today. I ran, and there was somebody running in a T-shirt, and I didn't have my gloves on. So, whoa, I don't know. And I'm like, well, an hour ago. And I realized to be negative, it's not pleasant. That's a losing game for him to be saying every day it's too cold. It's tomorrow, it's going to the teens next week. I'm like, well, it's going to get cold again in 3 months. So it's all how you look at it. Pretend it's February and it's 5 degrees Celsius. Wow, that's really warm. Or put on a jacket and enjoy the crisp weather. Don't be Debbie Downer on everything because life will be just miserable. And I know I'm not really positive Josh a lot. So what am I talking about? But when you see it in other people, you're like, God. Something really interesting happened last night. I was lying in bed listening to my podcast, at 12:30, and there was a guest host on this show called, Louder with Crowder or something, and this guy Dave was speaking. He was the host. And I'm like, his voice really sounds familiar, and I couldn't place it, and I'm like, it sounds like the comedian, but I couldn't remember the comedian's name. And then today at noon, I got a request on this, it's like a LinkedIn kind of cheap version of it called Alignable. And it's the comedian, Sean Cullen, sent me a connection request. And I've never talked to this guy in my life. I've always worshipped his comedy. But, he's a huge comedian. I'm like, what? What are the odds? And then I told my mom that story at dinner, and she's like, well, did you like type it in? Were you searching it or something? And I'm like, no, I didn't tell anybody. She's like, yeah, sometimes I wonder if they can read my mind, because like I think of something and then I'll see them post something about it. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, after dinner, I don't know. My mom told my dad she was gonna have a bath, but then she could watch some TV with him later. So anyway, so I started like just cleaning up the kitchen, and then I realized that the cupboards, there's so many coffee cups, and I'm always trying to like squeeze them in and move things around. I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna reorganize. So I got a ladder. I moved up stuff that never gets used, like these glasses and my dad's beer mug collection, to like the top shelf, and then I sort of made space for things, and then eventually my dad is like, well, what are you doing in there? And I'm like, uh, I'm reorganizing the cupboards. Well, we could put some mugs in storage. I'm like, nah. Anyways, I enjoyed organizing it. Hopefully my mom will appreciate it. Anyways, but yeah, so I didn't get anything done. So I'm going to go to bed now and hopefully get up really early. Oh yeah, I'm going to make a list in my tasks list. Could somebody text me in the morning and remind me to look at my tasks list? Because I need to remember to look at my list that I'm going to make.